Okay, good morning. Welcome to Social Sciences. Teacher Mr. Townsend. So we're going to continue our theme today about Black writers. Um, we're going to look today at, I'll just pull up my agenda for today. Let's see here. I'll be sharing with you here in a second. Okay. Hit share. Okay, you might want to have a paper or pencil out if you want to take notes. That'll probably be a good idea. There's going to be some questions that are going to be at the end here. If we don't reach them by the end of the class, I'll assign them as homework. Okay, so let's start from start. All right, so can everybody see the share screen?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, so it's a social science, Mr. Townsend. So just quick, we've looked at a couple authors over the last, I guess, few weeks. Who is this? Which author was this that we talked about? Take a guess. We've talked about maybe four or five different female writers to this point. Somebody take a guess in chat and who this is. What do you think, Waddell? Who is this person we're looking at? Darion, you have an idea? Mr. Coleman, you touted your intelligence to me last week, so can you tell me who this is? Mr. Coleman. Mr. Coleman. We would have a bunch of back going to sleepers. Okay. Well, I can't really do an interactive lesson unless we're going to have some type of interaction. So I'm going to need you guys to wake up and to either use a chat, be able to respond to Miss Cat, so I know you're there. So I need you guys to wake up and be involved with this a little bit, okay? So first question is, who is this? Did I lose the screen again? Which author is this that we've talked about to this point? Miss Cat.
Is Angela Davis?
Who said that? Is that Mr. Coleman?
Jerry.
Jairi. Thank you, Jairi. You're absolutely correct.
No, it's Jerry.
All right. Thank you, Jairi. Appreciate that. That is Angela Davis. Okay. So our agenda for today is that we're going to go back and we're going to review checkpoint 1s and 2. If you were one of my mentees, you received your progress report this weekend. You should have 2 progress notes to this point. If you're someone else's mentee, you should probably be receiving that today. It's going to let you know where you're at for each class. Since you're in this class, you are in social sciences Monday and Thursday. So we're going to review checkpoint 1 and 2. What have we done to this point? What is expected to be done? We're going to have a question and answer section. Whether if you guys have questions, I'm here to answer them. We're going to review Summit resources a little bit. Today we're going to be looking at a Black female hip hop artist named MC Lyte and her influence on hip hop culture. And then we're going to have an assessment. So Jairi was able to identify the first picture as Angela Davis. Whoops, apologize. And the quote I added for her is, "Deviant men have been constructed as criminal, while deviant women have been constructed as insane." And without getting too philosophical or deep into that, we were looking at poems earlier and sayings by Miss Davis and trying to analyze what she was saying. And I think this talks about a double standard within society, the way that men and women are viewed. Okay, men who are deviant can be seen as criminal. Women who are deviant are reconstructed as insane. Okay, so checkpoint 1 and 2. We have looked at 3 or 4 major Black female artists. I mean, not artists, authors. We looked at Zora Neale Hurston, who was from the South, who had more of a backwater farmer, kind of turn of the century ideals. And then we had Miss Morrison. We looked at a collection of her quotes early in the semester. So my favorite one from Toni Morrison, "Anything dead coming back to life hurts." Just one of her quotes that I thought was important. So for checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 2, this is where I need you to respond. We're going to review authenticity. By the way, that picture down there is Maya Angelou. So what is authenticity? This is going to be a repeat theme. You're going to need to know this for your project. You're going to have to integrate this in your project at the end. What is authenticity? What is authenticity? Come on, gentlemen, work with me. What is authenticity? Gentlemen, if we want to have a silent room, I can simply just assign this as individual work, and you can work on this as individuals without any conversation or interaction with me, because we're not going to be able to get anything done if no one is putting any input. So what is authenticity? Can someone define authenticity? Okay, I guess I'm teaching myself today. So authenticity, since I'm not going to get any feedback from my students, I'll have to do this by myself. Somebody put something in chat. All right, thank you, Waddell. It took like pulling teeth. It's something that is what you said is something that is real. Can you give me an example of something that's authentic? What's a definition of something that is authentic? That if I gave you something, you would know that it is not real. All right, well, I guess I'm in presenter mode, so I'm just going to present this to you guys. If you respond, you respond. If you don't, you don't. You're still going to be responsible for the content, because I can't force you to interact. You know, it is school. There has to be some level of interaction. Death, per se, isn't all definitely authentic. Okay, good. So you would know that someone is definitely dead if they did not have a pulse, right? So it's almost a definite. It's a definite thing. It's relatable to our lives. Authenticity is relatable to our lives. It's something that is real. What do you define as real? Is real something you can see? Is real something you can taste? Is real something that you can hold? Is real something you can conceptualize? What is real to you? What do you define as real? So none of you students have anything in your life that you consider to be real. Okay. Life is real. Actual facts. Okay. A fact is something that can be real. Is real something that you can, let's say, find an object on your table, maybe like a pen, or if you're drinking coffee, a cup of coffee, or something, your cell phone. Is that a real object? Is that a real thing, or is it perceived? It is perceived. And if it is real, how can you prove to me that it's real? Is the object that you're holding in your hand or the things around you, are they real? When you woke up this morning and you went from a dream state to a conscious state, which one of those is real? Okay, if it's not real, it's mimic. Okay, so we could say that the opposite of real, oops, is going to be something that's fake or inauthentic. So is what is real to you always going to be the same as others? Will the other people always look at the world in the same way that you look at the world as a real thing? Or will interactions that you have in the world always be the same when you talk to someone else? Will your worldview that you share be the same? Will all people agree on things? They should if it's real, okay? But what if their perception is different about what is real? Good, thank you, Ahmad. Not everybody has the same views on everything. So, no, people have different views. So, when you are an author and you're trying to connect with an audience, your first thing that you're using is authenticity. That's one of our overarching themes is authenticity. So, how does writing help connect an author with their audience? They're going to use things that they can relate to. What's the implication of if someone is lying? Elaborate for me that on the Waddell. What does that mean? That someone is lying. I'll give you some, oops, I just cut my chat box. Okay, being in a struggle is something most people can relate to. All right, good. So being in a struggle is something that you can relate to. A lot of people can relate to. So that will help kind of roll into our next thing. What are social issues? Definition of the word social, it means a group of people or things that are related to people. So social issues are not going to be the same for everyone. The point that I'm trying to make with this presentation is that in being a Black American, you're going to face some of the same social issues. We've talked about some of these issues before. We've talked about systemic racism. We've talked about the word disenfranchisement. Which means people are being kept from opportunities. We talked about educational opportunities. Talked about mass incarceration. What's mass incarceration? What's the word incarcerate mean? What does it mean to be incarcerated? If I said I had someone who is incarcerated, good. Thank you, Ahmad. Imprisonment. Incarceration is the state of imprisonment. So we look at some of these issues that Black Americans face. Systemic racism, disenfranchisement, educational opportunities. We could say disproportionate. Discrimination, disproportionate educational opportunities, mass incarceration. So Black females writers, which is our theme for this whole checkpoint, use authenticity, social issues, and intellectualism to connect with an audience. So there's three major points that you need to remember. You may want to write them down somewhere or take a screenshot of them. Is authenticity. We just talked about authenticity, which is the ability to relate to someone because you are using something real. We talked about some of the social issues. If we go back and use some of the social issues, systemic racism, disenfranchisement, disproportionate educational opportunities, mass incarceration, discrimination, those types of things are social issues. We're not going to worry about intellectualism today because that's going to be our third checkpoint, our third theme. So these are the three ways that most Black authors connect to and with their audience. At first, I thought I would use the acronym ASI. So I just rearranged them to my favorite Ninja Turtle, which is Raphael, and he uses a psi. So I want you to be able to remember authenticity, social issues, and intellectualism. Those three things are going to be in your end project. So you're going to want to be very familiar with those three ideas. For Summit, for anybody that's not been able to get on the Summit, that is your class code there. There's going to be resources available for you on Summit. You can also answer and submit your answers to checkpoints in Summit. That down the bottom is the hyperlink for logging into the Summit platform. I don't think there's anybody that has that problem in this class. But if it is a problem, please see me and let me help you get on Summit so you're able to get credit for your work. So the question I have right now before I move into what I want to talk about today. Let's see. You can't see me, Miss Cat? My screen? Okay. Can you see it now?
Yeah, now we can see
Okay.
it.
The problem is when I'm talking, there's a delay with the chat. So I have to come out and then go into the chat. I saw that there was some feedback in there and I wanted to look at what it said real quick. Something that's real is well known by a large group of people. So one of the two people is going against that group. So one of the two must be lying. Real is not based off one's opinion or people's person's opinion. At least I don't think so. Okay. So a fact, what you define, Waddell, is a fact. A fact is something that is well known and agreed on by a large group of people. If I said the Earth is a planet, is that a fact? I'm pretty sure that most of us agree we live on a planet. Some people think it's flat, but that's their opinion. But we know we live on a planet. We live on a planet. So most of the time, that is not. So something that's indisputable is a fact. So our three ways that Black authors connect with their audience are through SAI, or the SAI, which is social issues, authenticity, and intellectualism. Okay, so we've been talking about Black female writers. We've talked about Maya Angelou, Zora Neale Hurston. We've talked about Toni Morrison. We've talked about Angela Davis. So what I want to do is I want to look at some of the influential women who have a different medium of writing or getting across their point of authenticity. So we're going to talk about an original rap pioneer whose name was MC Lyte. Would I dare have someone who is brave enough to read this paragraph for me out loud? Anyone that brave? I got all dudes in here. Nobody can read out loud. Come on, guys. It's like 2 paragraphs. Okay. Well, I'm just going to keep going then. So who was MC Lyte? Lana Michelle Moore was born in 1970. She was raised in Brooklyn, New York. And she began rapping at the age of 12, which is pretty young. She regards Milk D and DJ Giz, the hip-hop duo audio known as Audio 2, as totally like her brothers because the three grew up together. And Audio 2's father, Nat Robinson, started a label for them called First Priority. After making the label, Robinson cut a deal with Atlantic with one condition: that Lana would get a record contract with Atlantic as well. So MC's real name is Lana. There is a hyperlink here. So if you click this hyperlink, we'll cut and paste it. It should go right to a biography. Okay, now it's not found. That's odd. Maybe it's just taking a little bit of time loading. All right, well, I thought I shared a link to her biography that you should be able to see. So we're going to talk about her first album. Originally, her stage name was Sparkle. At age 14, she began recording her first track, although it took 2 years before it was able to be released. So she was 16 years old. In 1987, when she was 17, Lyte began publicly outshining other MCs. In September 1988, she released her first album, which was called Light as a Rock. written over the course of many years. The album was noted for such hits as Paper Thin, its title track, and the battle rap 10% diss, a response from then Herbie associate Antoinette. So we're going to look at the song Paper Thin. I should have a YouTube connection here. Now, before we watch it and listen to it, I just want you to kind of think. We're going to go back and elaborate. One moment. So just contextually, at that time in 1988, women were still objectified in hip hop. They weren't taken seriously as MCs or someone that could actually rap. We talked about Lauryn Hill, who is probably one of the better or one of the top ranked female rappers, in my opinion, and several other opinions, but it doesn't make it necessarily true. So when we're watching this video, I want you to think about what kind of message is MC Lyte trying to get across with this message about being paper thin. So I just want you to listen to the song, take some notes, anything that catches you, just write it down, okay? All right, so.
Lyte, what you stopping for?
I want to take the subway.
The subway?
I just got this feeling. I want to take the subway.
You got this bad Jetta sitting there, you want to take the subway?
Yo, D, what's up with her?
Cat, go with her.
What she want to take the subway for?
I don't know. I'm going to take a call home. Be out of here.
Attention passengers, we are temporarily being held in the station due to cross signals. We will be moving shortly. Thank you.
When you say you love me, it doesn't matter. It goes into my head as just chit chatter. You may think it's egotistical or just very free, but what you say, I take none of it seriously. And even if I did, I wouldn't tell you so. I'd let you pretend to read me, and then you'd know. Cause I hate when one attempts to analyze fact I despise. Those who even try to look into my eyes to see what I am thinking. That dream is over, your yacht is sinking. I tell all of you like I told all of them. What you say to me is just paper thin. Word. I'm not the kind of girl to try to play a man out. I take the money and again, then break the hell out. No, that's not my strategy, not the game I play. I admit I play a game, but it's not done that way. Truly, when I get involved, I give it my heart. I mean, my mama sold my body, I mean, every part. But if it doesn't work out, yo, it just doesn't. It wasn't meant to be, you know, it just wasn't. So I treat all of you like I treat all of them. And what you say to me is still paper thin. In one ear and right out the other. Hurdles, mumble, jumble. Lover, I don't pay attention, I don't concentrate. You ain't got the bait that it takes to hook this. Sucker, you missed. I put feelings aside. I know who I am. My name is Lyte. Is your name Sam? Cause if it is, step off. Grab your coat, get lost. Rabbit scarf around your throat. Go back and catch your boat. Hit the road, Sam. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Sam. Don't you come back no more. So now I take precaution when choosing my mate. I do not touch until the third or fourth date. Then maybe we'll kiss on the fifth or sixth time that we meet. Like that, cause a day without a kiss is so incomplete. And then maybe I'll let you play with my feet. You can suck the big toe and play with the middle. It's so simple, unlike a riddle. It's as easy as counting to 1, 2, 3. In other terms, letters Lyte. I'll tell you, and all of you in the back and in the middle, in the front. Yo. That's it, paper thin, word up like that. So like, check it out. Yo, Lyte, one to my dedication to my DJ K-Rock and place to be. That's right, that's his name, K-Rock.
Okay, so that was a song, okay, Paper Thin, which came off of her original album. And I wanted to ask you some questions about it. What kind of messages you saw in there? So we watched Paper Thin. These are the lyrics, Paper Thin. We're going to go back to that. So some questions. When MC Lyte was talking about what people were saying to her was paper thin, what does she mean by it? What was she trying to convey? We'll go back and look at the lyrics of the song. But what was she saying was paper thin? Was she talking about objects? Was she talking about what somebody was saying? Was she talking about someone else's ideas? What message did you get across listening to that song? Did she connect with you anyway using authenticity? I'm gonna go to chat. Okay, good. So Samaj, she wants you to feel her and where she's coming from. That's a good input. What was she saying? What was paper thin? We always, when we listen to a song, we want to know what the main theme of it. What was paper thin? She wanted people to know where she was coming from. What type of things was she talking about in her lyrics that were paper thin? Was it what people thought about her? Was it what people were saying to her? Was it her opinion of other people? What was paper thin? Well, let's go back to the lyrics and look, and maybe you'll see some correlations that I saw. So before we go back, did she address any social issues? That is one of the tools. She's addressing. What social issue did she address? Good, Ahmad, very excellent insight. Perfect. Ahmad said, in his opinion, anything you try to say to her wouldn't matter because it's paper thin. So what the words that you're saying to her don't carry any weight. Very good, Ahmad. Very, very insightful. That what she said, what you're saying to her, it doesn't carry any weight. Mistreatment of women, because you believe that they are incapable of doing something. Hold on a second. Can you guys still not hear me? Miss Cat, can you hear me?
We can hear you now. You went out just for like.
I went out for a second. All right, yeah, it's probably just I'll say it again. So the social issue I think that MC Lyte was talking about, remember at this time, female in rap videos were on the side. A lot of times they were objectified. They were seen as more of like part of the scenery. They weren't considered to be serious. We call that misogyny. And misogyny is the belief that women are inferior. We used to call it being a chauvinist. So MC Lyte, when she was, I think that Ahmad answered the question that, was the song authentic? Yes, because he was able to form an opinion that anything you try to say to her wouldn't matter because it's simply paper thin. So it doesn't carry any weight. So let's look back at the slide. And I went through and did some analyzing about some of the things she says. It says, when you say you love me, it doesn't matter. It just goes into my head just like chit chatter. A lot of that is lies and misconceptions. or trying to what we used to call just run game. You know, the guy on the subway, he was trying to run game on MC Light, and she wasn't hearing anything of what he says, that it was just chit chatter. So that's an ideology of, she's saying, I'm not gonna listen to your lies and misconceptions. Whoops. I don't know why this isn't letting me go all the way down. And get this to move for 1 second. I don't know why I can't get this page to share. I apologize. I can't get this to scroll down. I'll have to print it out for you guys. So in that song, she was addressing several things that women had dealt with. You know, I'm not a woman. I don't know what it feels like to have some of the issues that she was going through at the time, but not being taken seriously, not being taken as someone who had the same abilities as someone else is always going to be a degrading experience. What if I told you, gentlemen, that you guys couldn't do anything simply because you're male? That you're not able to understand the plight of a woman because you're a male? Would that be fair to say? Would it be fair to me to say that men are unable to understand what women may feel or go through? Well, I mean, I'm glad you don't care, because that shows that you don't have those type of preformed ideas in your mind. Very good. Very good, Waddell. It's paper thin. You got the point of everything. So regardless of what someone may think or what somebody may present to you and tell you what's the best for your life or for the way that you're supposed to act or think or do, MC Light at a time, this is 1987, you guys, this is way before modern hip hop and way before a lot of the female rappers that were around at that time. We're going to look at another one of her songs. I was hoping that this would spark some discussion, but I am getting some people who understand it. The next thing we're going to look at is her debut album, her debut as a female artist going head to head with another artist. His name was Positive K. Okay. So we're going to listen to I'm Not Having It. That's the name of the song. And then we're going to try to answer these questions. I have a chat here, so let me just find out. Yes, even back then, you wouldn't normally see a female artist rapping on the train. She made it authentic. She used something that people would feel on an everyday basis, riding a train. Before the coronavirus, riding a train was the daily activity for many of us. And yes, especially in the early years, you did not see females out front center rapping. Instead, you would see them on the side, more as scenery, more as an accessory to the rapper. I'm the rapper. These are my cars. These are my girls that come along with it. MC Light, Queen Latifah. There's several other rappers who changed the ideas of how women could be perceived in hip hop. So let's go to the second song. Thank you for your input, gentlemen. Appreciate that. Let me cut and paste this out of here. I'm going to share the screen with you.
You want to make every game interesting? Step one, Open the BetMGM Sportsbook. Step 2, put some skin in the game. And step 3, showtime. TDs, back with K's, RBIs, and the TK.
I think you're right.
What's up, baby? I've been eyeing you time and time again. I've been trying to get a little closer, but you won't let it.
Well, if I see something I want, I just go out and get it. I'm like a floozy, I'm choosy, and I don't fall for tricks. Cause guys be running games like the New York Knicks.
But on the square, dear, you know your style, it really tempts me.
Don't try to gas me up on a tank that is empty.
I'm positive that I'm kicking the fact.
Well, I'm light, and you got to kick it better than that.
But I'm on the way live, and I'm definitely not crabbing.
It's just certain things I'm simply not having.
Excuse me, miss.
No, I'm not having it.
Excuse me, miss.
No, I'm not having it.
Excuse me, miss.
No, I'm not having it.
Excuse me? You think you're all that?
No, you think you're all of this with your baby talking your excuse me, miss?
Well, I'm smooth. And hey, look, it's only right. I thought that we can get together and maybe we can.
Yeah, sounds good. But guys like you just wanna hit and run. Look, we're not the two and I'm not the one. So if you got some thoughts about taking me to bed, kill that and get a $5 crack.
But I'm all the way live and I'm definitely not crabbing.
It's just certain things I'm simply not having.
Excuse me, miss.
No, I'm not having.
Excuse me, miss.
No, I'm not having.
Excuse me, miss.
Nuh-uh, I'm not having.
Excuse me? I think you're trying to diss me or play me like I'm booty.
No, matter of fact, love, I think that you're a beauty. It's just certain things you don't understand, baby. Every woman wants to be treated like a lady.
So what? You want me to kick it as if I'm a duck?
Listen to what I'm saying and just trying to put it so I can make something happen. You just turned me off by the way that you was rapping.
Look, I'm all the way live and I'm definitely not crabbing. Me change for a woman, that's what I'm not having.
I keep feelings inside, I know who I am.
Step to yourself, cause I don't wanna hear it.
I keep feelings inside, I know who I am.
You're not getting younger, you're just getting older.
What do you get when you fall in love? You only get loss and pain and sorrow. So for at least until tomorrow, friend, I'm never gonna fall in love again. But getting back to the topic of convo, in my book, hun, you are a no-no.
Come on, I'm clean cut and dapper. You got to admit that. I don't sell drugs and I ain't with the whack crack. I'm cool and calm. My tone is mild. You don't see me snatching chains and acting wild. Excuse me, miss. I think you better get with this.
Can it, damn it, cause I'm simply not having it.
Excuse me, miss.
No, I'm not having it.
Excuse me, miss.
I'm not having it.
Excuse me, miss.
No, I'm not having it.
Excuse me. Yo, look gorgeous. Let me put it like this.
No, I'm not
Yo,
having
come on, honey. Look, my name is like, you know.
I'm not having
Hey,
it.
I want to take you out and treat you.
Light's
right?
not having
I'm talking the whole 9 yards, baby.
No, I'm not having
Well,
it.
look, I'm paid. I'm like live, you know.
I'm not having
I'm the best they come, honey. I'm telling you
No,
now.
I'm not having
You
it.
know, I'm positive. Hey, I'm positive.
Positive, I am not having it.
Okay, so I got some remarks in the chat box while this was playing, and some people think that she's a little bit ruthless on her message. So let's look at what her message was. Now, you have to understand that this was a very brave.
There's a simple passive income business that allows you to be free. You probably don't know about it.
Okay. Sorry about that. Apologies. Oh, come on. Okay, so that song was between MC Lyte and a rapper named Positive K. Okay? What was MC Lyte not having? What was the point of what was she not having? What's she not having? What was Positive K in his character or in his personification of a guy, you know, trying to come on to MC Light to talk to her in a certain type of way? What was she not having? Okay, good. She was not playing the way he was approaching her. Okay, and she was not having being played by him. What point was she trying to make? What point was she trying to make? So it wasn't that, you know, Positive K, he was saying, you know, I'm smooth, you know, I got this, you know, I'm a JOB, I don't sell drugs. You should talk to me simply because you should talk to me. And she kept repeatedly saying, you know, I'm not having it. And it really didn't have anything about the way that he looked. It had the way he was presenting himself to her as a potential mate or somebody that wanted to talk to her. So he was not playing, she was not having the way that he was approaching her. Okay, very good insight. So she showed self-choice and with an autonomy and determination. I'm sorry, I lost something there. I'm trying to get to your comments here. Okay. To come off more respectful, and she already knew what type of person he was just by talking to her. Okay. So the way in which he was approaching her with the excuse me, miss, and, you know, all his, you know, making forward advancements that she should be with him because he is simply this guy and he's so great and he's so wonderful. And before in rap, you have to understand it was the guy who was saying, you know, I get the girls. No female ever said anything back. I remember in the early days of rap when the guys said they had girls, they simply put their arms around the girls and the girls just smiled or danced, or there wasn't any females who were stepping up and playing the counter role to this rap, the male rappers. So she was one of the first to start, you know, coming off and said she will not have misogyny. She would not have this disrespect of saying, well, you know, you should be with me simply because I'm this guy, you know, or I have a nice car. No, none of us here in the room except for Miss Cat is female. So, you know, there may be things that we don't relate too much as, you know, a man trying to pursue us and ask us questions. But we can relate just by in our own lives where people, you know, try to get us to do things or tell us, oh, you can't lose with this deal, or people don't like people with cocky mindsets. People don't like people who think that, you know, they are. But it wasn't just so much about the mindset. It was this entitlement. It was almost like this right that I have a right to talk to you simply because I am this good looking, or I have this much money, or I have a Ferrari outside, or, you know, I have, at that time would have been a gold chain or watches. He was trying to say, and she told him, I'm positive, I'm not having it. So I'm sure that there's parts of the songs that we can relate to. This was just an analysis. So the rap is almost like a face-off between a man and a woman who believes he's right to talk to MC Light, and she is simply not having it. There's guys who running game, using stuff as words as excuse me, miss, or how you doing? And his response was, well, you think you all that. No, stop, go. Sorry about this. My cat will not leave me alone while I'm trying to teach. It was objectification. He was treating MC Light, he was treating her like an object instead of a person. And sometimes in the hip hop community, especially, even now, there's objectification of women and women's bodies. And yes, there's a lot of objectification of women's bodies, of, you know, how we're supposed to view women in society. But she was willing to she was willing to challenge that. So MC Light changed the way women were viewed in hip hop at the time. It wasn't just her. She used her verbal skills, which is her ability to rap, and she used authenticity, which is her ability to connect to her audience using relatable thing. She also used intellectualism, and I'm going to define what intellectualism is to in a moment, and faced social issues. She was willing to go head on, just like Nora Zeal Hurston and Toni Morrison, that she felt fair to be unfair in the medium of hip hop. MC Light believed that women should be treated with the same respect as men, and in turn, men should respect her and other women. So the definition of intellectualism is the exercise of intellect at the expense of emotions. Rationale, using your rationale over your emotions. Intellectualism would be in a sense where if someone were to insult you, and it would elicit a emotional response where you're upset and you say, man, I want to say something back to this person, or I want to do something back physically to this person. But if we use intellectualism as a shield, as a detractor from our emotions, we are able to probably get a lot more done. Getting mad and screaming and reacting and calling of names, that just causes more problems. But if we use intellectualism, she knew how some of these men thought. She was in a primarily dominant male field, a dominant male genre at the time. So she used intellectualism. She didn't have to insult. She didn't have to insult the other rapper to get her point across. But in a lot of ways, she just stuck to her guns, basically. She said, I'm not having this treatment. I'm not having this misogyny. I'm not having this disrespect. So before we go to her questions, so that's MC Light today. It would be 50 because she is 7 years older than me. So MC Light, she paved the way for her predecessors, people who came after her, and modern female rappers. MC Light contributed to the change in attitude towards women in hip hop and their ability as rappers. MC Light music was filled with themes such as female empowerment and self-respect. So these, there's a series of questions that will be assigned as homework to you. Everything that is on the sheet for the questions, we've either reviewed or gone over in the slides. When you get to the slides for paper thin, you'll be see it better on your computer. For some reason, I can't scroll down, but I went through and I put in red some overall themes that she was trying to challenge as far as social issues. So that is your class for today. Do I have any questions on what the expectations are for the homework here? This will be on Summit this afternoon. I was planning on putting it up for the next class. So it will be on Summit. Okay. It'll probably come under checkpoint 3. It won't necessarily be your checkpoint 3, but it'll probably be under checkpoint 3 or checkpoint 2. I'll put the PowerPoint up. You answer the questions there. That I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then one has 3-part questions. So Ahmad, Waddell, thank you for your participation. For the other gentlemen that are coming, I'm glad you're here. The part of your grade is classroom participation. So I'm going to need a little bit more feedback during class. Yeah, Ahmad, I think you're okay on your checkpoints 1 and 2. So you shouldn't have any problems at this point. All right, so if there's no other questions, This will be up on Summit after class. And I hope that you guys are able to learn something today about one of our early female pioneer rappers. Now, if you go back to watch this on Summit or on YouTube, they will cut the videos out because they are copyrighted. So you're going to have to use my links to watch them. Okay, so any other questions, any other concerns that need to be addressed right now? I got about 4 minutes. Any questions, any concerns? Okay, Ahmad, you're good. Everyone else in good shape? All right, Darion, thank you for responding. And if anybody has not done checkpoint 1 or checkpoint 2, you need to get a hold of me ASAP. You can email me, you can Google Hangout me, you can Zoom to my lab. Okay? Thanks, Ms. Cat, this morning for your opening to class, and I will see right now you gentlemen on Thursday. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Ms. Cat.